Welcome back to the 2025 Twin Cities Film Fest Stearns Bank Red Carpet. I'm Blythe Whealy here at the Marcus West End Theaters, and I'm lucky to be joined by Lydia Jones and her film New Love. Thank you so much for being here, Lydia.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah. And I am really excited to let our audience know even more about your film if they haven't had a chance to see it already. But Lydia, can you tell me about your film and what inspired you to want to make it?
Yes, so my dad passed away 5 years ago. And so over the years, I've been wanting to do a tribute for him because he loved music and I love to dance. And so I ended up winning the MRAC grant, and that allowed me to pay other dancers that had here in the Twin Cities also lost a parental figure or someone who was their parent. And we just kind of created this piece in honor of our lost loved ones.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Obviously, I'm sorry you're going through that, but ultimately, I'm really glad that film has been a place for you to share this story. I also want to touch on what it was like going through this process. I know filmmaking is never easy, so I'm curious on maybe a challenge that you were able to overcome.
So I work on a production team called Chewy Productions, and so doing the other side of it, doing commercial work, has kind of helped me view dance in a different way through film. And honestly, this whole process was really smooth. I feel like as a dancer, you learn how to navigate different angles and how you want to vision live performances. So being able to see it and then be like, oh, now I can be creative as a film, you get to work through different angles and be as creative as you want. Like, oh, I just want the upper body or just the lower body or just your back, and you really can capture that with film. And Laura Sukawati, who was the cinematographer for me, is also a dancer. And so it was really easy for me to explain my vision and have a team full of dancers and photographers, videographers that knew what they were doing on both ends, not only but for film but for dance. So it was a really easy team to work with.
I can see that being helpful for the DP to also kind of know what movement normally looks like. But I also, if I haven't mentioned it, I want to mention that you're the director, the choreographer, and the dancer in this film.
Yes.
So you have so much to do with it, showing all of your talent. But can you tell me what it was like being a director while also being a choreographer on the same film? Can you tell me about that process?
Yeah. So I had the help of a very wonderful friend named Janae Jackson, who is also a dancer. We co-choreographed, so it was something that was easy for me to piece together with my team of videographers. So Chewy and Laura, they helped me build the cinematography version of it, and then I was able to build with my team with Janae this base of dance. And so then when I was able to bring it together, it was like, okay, I have this missing piece, and I had exactly who I needed it. And then I also had friends like Mia Johnson, who's here today, who was able to come in, and when I was like, I need more bodies to understand what this would look like so I can step out and be the director. I had lots of in and out moments, and Janae was luckily there helping me. So in times where I needed to see things but I couldn't be in, she could do it and knew both parts, hers and mine, so that we could get the vision. And then if I needed to be in it, she could step out and see. So I had a lot of working hands that made it possible, and I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for them.
Takes a village, always, right, to make a film. But that's awesome. I'm glad that you had that support.
Yeah.
And also, we want to know just if there's any other places that you like to dance. I know in this film you'll see you dancing in what looks like a woods or a forest. I'm not, whichever, probably both the same.
Yeah.
But is there other places that you like to dance that maybe are as therapeutic as the woods?
Well, that place specifically was a lake that I used to fish at with my dad a lot. So I felt like somewhere that I interacted with him a lot, and that somewhere he loved, that it was easy for me to connect the movement to the space. I love dancing outside. I love dancing in my living room because it's kind of my space, my comfort zone. And then I love performing and dancing on stage at the studio I work at. So just anywhere, honestly, I love to dance. So.
Well, good. It's not just me making movement. I know your movements would probably look a lot better than mine, but I definitely know that dance.
Anyone loves dance. So if you can move your body, I think it's worth it. So.
Well, I of course have to ask you, is there a dance move that you could show me? Is there something that I would be able to learn from you? Something easy. Definitely don't go too hard on me.
Right. You can do one of these.
That's too funny. Thank you. But what are you hoping at the end of the day today your audience takes away from this film?
I think that specifically the people of color community don't get to talk about grief and what it looks like to process grief, and that it doesn't always have to be something that's sad, but it just is. It always is. It's there, and someone always said that it's like a big orb when you first get it, and then the jar that it's in just gets bigger because you expand on life, but it doesn't mean that your grief has gotten any smaller. And so I think that the process of doing this film allowed me to realize that it wasn't something that needed to be sad or angry. It just is. And so I hope that it opens the door for people to feel like they can express or talk about grief in any capacity.
Well, thank you for sharing that perspective, because that even opened my eyes even more than already watching your film did, is just that concept.
Yeah.
And I just want everyone to, if they haven't seen New Love, to make sure they're checking it out, but also just making sure that they are processing the grief that they're going through and finding those ways that maybe don't always have to be sad, like you said. But Lydia Jones, such a wonderful artist. Thank you for sharing your talent here with the Twin Cities Film Fest.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be back here on our Twin Cities Film Fest red carpet for more interviews coming up after the break.